Hello and welcome to the Creativity Broadcast. Thanks for joining me for another collective creativity reading. We're going to tune in a little bit and gather together and see what message there is for us today for our creative quest. All right. So just taking a minute to relax and tune in. And the message that I'm getting is like this really almost intense attention to a ball of light on the right side over here, which could mean a lot of different things. Let's maybe start this today with Wisdom of the Oracle, Pocket Edition. And we're just going to choose one card to sort of express the overall energy that's here with us today. I'm very curious about this attention on the right side thing. I'm curious if that brings anything up for you personally, just knowing that. Okay. Mm. Poised. Number 48. Wow, look at that image. I hope it's not too blurry for you. Man, that's so beautiful. It almost looks like she's dancing, but she's in this sort of, she's like captured in this moment of almost ecstatic expression and potentially joy. Maybe I'm projecting. If you look very closely, you can also see that there is a face on her garment there, kind of like coming through. My immediate interpretation is that that's kind of like the voice of spirit or the voice of soul. And she's on top of this pedestal. Sort of looks like maybe twilight or daybreak, like there's some kind of like transitionary sky in the background. But also if you look at the bunting, it looks so like adorable and homemade, almost like someone made her a party, or maybe she made it for herself. And she's holding these homemade stars. That's beautiful. All right, let's see what the reading says about this. Poised, number 48. Being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. You can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to, your skills are sharp, you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. When you're confident and happy in your own skin, you're ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. It's very strong. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. Okay, there's two other messages here. One is a prosperity message. You have every reason to feel confident. Everything you need to make your success concrete is now at your disposal. You can take action knowing you are ready to step into your power, into your light, and into your service to the world. The direction you're moving in is your destiny. Oh, anyone else feel that? Your soul is smiling with joy as you align with this truth. And here's the protection message. You're not ready to move forward at this time, and that has to be okay. Be poised in the face of demands and deadlines. Pretending you know what you're doing works sometimes, but if you adopt a fake it till you make it attitude, it will land you in some muck now. This is not the time to wing it and deliver something half finished. It's okay to postpone things until you're really ready. It's better to disappoint others now than wish you had later. Oh, that's really funny. That's really funny. Um, it's super interesting. So with this card deck, this is Wisdom of the Oracle, Pocket Divination from Colette Baron-Reid. I'm just getting to know this deck, and so what I'm learning is these different messages are kind of similar to a tarot reading, where like the configuration can also send a message. Um, and this card I drew, I'm pretty sure I drew right side up. I'm not really used to looking at that because um, I don't really use tarot as much as I use Oracle, but um, the protection message is usually the one that's important if it's a upside down or a reversed card. Um, and yeah, so I think with this deck, you can also kind of check in about, like you can use it specifically for relationship or career, or if you're seeking protection, you can kind of read within that frame of mind. I will say that as an overarching energy, poised is hitting me in such a funny place today, especially with that like right side thing, because in terms of like the sides of our body, it tends to be we tend to relate to the right side as a masculine energy and the left side as a feminine energy. And you may already think about it this way, but when it comes to energetics like this, especially where they are in the body, we're not talking about gender, we're talking about masculine or feminine energies, which aren't really about being male or female. They're kind of more a different type of energy that works in different ways, creates in different ways, protects in different ways. And like, I think part of what I'm getting about like this over here is like, hey, you are poised. You have these different things lined up for you that actually make a lot of sense. It's safe now and it's okay right now to kind of call upon and rely a little bit more on masculine ways of creating or masculine supports that in the past may not have quite felt right. Like you may have needed a lot more feminine energy. But I'm really getting with this reading that this is probably about like leaning on some of the more masculine energies, like logic and numbers and strength, or receiving support from people and forces that are really good at those things that might actually help you grow. It's very interesting. So let's see. I'm thinking that the second one here is going to be the White Light Oracle. Just because that first draw was really like, whoosh, kick you in the face. So let's see if we need some support kind of with the softer side of this. What's asking to come through right now? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I was kind of getting two. Ooh, all right, this is good. So the first one we have Sovereign Queen Maeve. Right off the bat, this is majorly aligning with that first one. Wow. And then the second card here, Oboadire. Lovely. So I think this is very much like in line with this idea of like moving forward with confidence, but it's also reminding us of two things. One, Sovereign Queen Maeve, we're talking about um, like the borders of your kingdom and what you use to keep them solid so that you can conquer blah blah blah. And then Obo Adire, I think, is really about devotion. So I think this is a really wonderful message of like, yes, while we may be ready to move certain things forward very powerfully, we need to remember that we are guided by these very beautiful things that are deeply important to us, and to not get too swept up in like craving success or clutching very tightly. We need to remember the purity that is fueling us in the first place and the thing that's most important to us. And who was I talking to about this recently? I was definitely talking to a client about queen energy. Oh, yeah, one of my clients. You know who you are. We were talking about how, she's a coach too, and she was like, we were talking about how she's like the queen maker. Like her clients are becoming queens in their lives. And I was like, yeah, that's totally, you're the queen maker. So this is kind of like a similar reflection with Sovereign Queen Maeve. We're being reminded that we are able to, and in a place where it makes sense to relate to ourselves as sovereign. And maybe you're a matriarch, or maybe you just need to start thinking about your particular life and the life you're leading as like your kingdom and your empire. And so a queen, a queen is in charge, she makes decisions, but she has to hold herself as a steward of a legacy that comes before her. She is in service to all the people who live in her kingdom, and all of the animals that live in her kingdom. And I think that this is like that reminder to the queen of like, oh yeah, don't get too swept up in all the big politics of what you're doing, because it's because of this really beautiful, perfect thing that's very important to your heart. Okay, that's enough. Let's see what the book says. Sovereign Queen Maeve. Value what is sacred to you by protecting it from interference, even that which may be well-intentioned. Be compassionate, but set firm boundaries. You're going to triumph over a negative situation. It will take courage, but you have more than enough inner strength, resourcefulness, and boldness to accomplish what you wish to attain. Do not give up. You have the ability to connect with higher worlds, so open your heart and mind to the light. At the portal between everyday reality and the rapture of unchecked aliveness stands Sovereign Queen Maeve. She is an initiatrix, taking us beyond the constraints of polite moralism and into the bliss, sacred passion, grit, and astuteness needed to cultivate and protect the light. Goddess, warrior, queen of the fae, and fearless guardian and protector of territory, Maeve is wild and determined. Wow. Maeve is the instinct to engage when challenged, to call on recruits, and use all the inner wisdom and talent at your disposal so that you can assert the light and refuse to be put down or denied your rightful place. Okay, this is another thing that feels really important. Protecting territory from a spiritual perspective is unlike the grasping and self-serving of the ego that wishes to obtain whatever it can for its own benefit. This world needs souls who are willing and able to hold sacred space and refuse to allow it to become contaminated by greed, jealousy, hate, or confusion. This is an act of courage and selflessness. Such an act of courage serves all beings. Wow. Rapture is a pathway out of control and into the sacred and consciously chosen abandonment into something greater than the self. Okay. Yeah, wow. Okay. Oh my gosh, Queen Maeve. There's so much in that, but this is definitely like a I feel like Queen Maeve has this very powerful protection energy, but she also has a very strong and I think very deeply rooted sense of defending that which is right. And so you may be feeling in certain areas this sort of weird quest to like make something right, or maybe you've extended something to someone and they're kind of meeting it with like some kind of like ego conversation that's hitting you a little bit wrong. It doesn't even have to be like a huge injustice. It might just be like, oh, this, they're not treating me and my idea or whatever the way that I really would like it to be treated. It's almost like I have these rubies and they're kind of just like throwing them on the floor or rearranging them to suit their purposes, and without any judgment of like F them, but like purely from a place of like, oh, this might not be the correct partner for this particular thing that I'm doing. You want to work with people who see your rubies for the treasures that they are and would like to help you improve upon them and grow something beautiful together. So I think with Maeve, there's also like this element of discerning, of being like, oh, I'm sensing that this is being misinterpreted, or I'm sensing that this is being used for some kind of like, what is it? Oh, I already moved away from the page. But there's like it being used for something that you don't intend, that is more of an ego conversation or destructive or controlling or something like that. And so Sovereign Queen Maeve is kind of like a returning of it without necessarily a big blowout. It's just like a, ooh, I'll take that back, thank you. And then let's go to this one. It says, do not turn away from your path, nor from what you know in your heart to be true. No matter what appears to be, nor what logic may dictate, trust what your heart is telling you. You are safe and protected by spirit. You are spiritually empowered with all that you need to manifest your authentic soul path. You have what it takes to connect with the light and live that connection in practical ways which contribute positive energy to our human collective. Obo Dire, if you know Latin, can you tell me how you actually pronounce that word? Thank you. Is the Latin basis for the word obedience. Far from conforming to authority, the original meaning was to listen, to hear, and to not turn away. Ooh, to not turn away. This is another element of reading from the other day about Pandora kind of taking us to the end of something, and then instead of us retreating, kind of holding the end as, oh, it's the beginning of like kind of a new threshold being crossed. This is a similar energy of, hey, you're being kind of like brought to something new, and instead of putting up a barrier or not listening, you're actually being asked to listen. And it's not a positive or negative listening. It's more just like a literal, like when you're presented with something new, you can either turn away and move in another direction, or you can move backwards, or you can recoil. I don't know. There's a million different ways that you can do it, but this is actually asking you to not turn away from it, like to actually face it, not face it like it's a battle and you're facing each other. It's more like just a recognition and a being with, like actually giving yourself some time to be with it. The Oracle of Obo Dire is about becoming a sacred rebel, giving up faith in the ways of the world, and embracing the ways of the spirit unconditionally. Yeah, so it's interesting because the artwork on this card does sort of feel a bit like there's this sanctuary you're kind of creating with your own truth and your own knowledge. And I want to be sometimes a little bit careful with stuff like this, because I think it's a little bit too easy in this day and age to use this as a way to like shield yourself from the happenings of the world. And that's not what it's intended for. We are here at a certain time meant to participate with what's happening in the world, But I think this is a reminder of like, if we derive a lot of our power from our connection to what's true for us, we have to take the time and space to create sanctuaries for ourselves where we can really be with that truth and let it become part of our guidance system. And I think for me, this is like a huge like smack in the face when it comes to my creativity, because when I'm feeling blocked or I can't connect with what's true for me, my creative flow is just like not there, you know? So a lot of my daily habits and practices are around giving myself some space to actually tune into what is true for me. I'm definitely wondering if this reading is giving you access to some stuff that's true for you. That'd be super cool. Wow. Mm. Thank you, ladies. All right, my dears, I think that's good for today. Hope this was really helpful, and good luck on the next part of your creative quest. See you later.